I haven't done anything in a while, so I'm gonna tell a story of how I got stuck in a giant. I don't want to call it a pile; it was more like a ditch full of cow feces, right? So it was me and a cousin and a friend, and we went to this place that it was a shooting range in the middle of like nowhere, and in that shooting range, if you walk far enough, you were able to go hunt. So it was like 2 in 1, I guess. And my uncle dropped us off at the shooting range to just like mess around because it was pretty empty. There was no one actually shooting, so we were just messing around, running around in the place, and we were doing nothing. We just playing, I guess. We're young, and next to that shooting range as well, there was a bunch of cows, and they had like their little water, and it didn't look like there was a lot of poop on the ground, but that was because it was like perfectly leveled with the ground, so you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the regular dirt and so me and my cousin had the bright idea to race each other. So what we did was we just started running, of course, and it was like a big open area, and we didn't know that after the dirt there was like the nasty stuff, and I fell into the and my cousin did too because we were like head to head. So we fell in about, I would say, huh, like at the point that it starts, like the actual poop starts, to where we landed was about maybe like 8 feet into the shit, and we were like up to our like probably like stomach deep like the poop. And well, at this time we were like pretty stuck because it was it's pretty disgusting, but the texture of it was like the best way I can describe it is like kind of like whipped cream. You know how it's really soft, but it's technically solid. But like if you press it, it's just gonna like disappear. It was pretty much that. So the more you move, the more you like compressed it, and you went like deeper in. So it's pretty much like quicksand, but instead of sand, it was yeah. So we were stuck, and we couldn't move because if we moved, we were gonna compress it and go low. And if we went too low, since it was dense, you couldn't really breathe if you were in it. So if you move too much, you're just gonna suffocate, which is a really sad way to go, I guess. And so we were just stuck. And this friend, he was like, how do I say it? He wasn't very like the opposite of manly. So he like for example, this one time that we went to a hill, he was complaining about the plants and why didn't they put like an escalator in the hill like that we were in. And it was just a hill, and he was asking for an escalator. That kind of guy, and he wasn't racing with us, so he was back there, and we started yelling his name so he could help us. But how would you expect a guy like that to, help out in a situation where we're stuck in poop? I just realized my mic was muted this entire time. I just explained like half of the story. Anyways, uh, I was trying to call him for my friend. Well, he wasn't even my friend. It was my cousin's friend, and we're calling for him so that he would help us get out of the situation that we're in. So we called for him, and he came, but he was very much of a softie, so he wasn't really going to help all that much. So we asked him to pass us over a plank, like the very cheap broken plank that we saw on the ground, and we told him to just pass it over. And the thing was that it was kind of heavy, so he tried to throw it, but he was really wimpy, so he couldn't, and it just like flopped, and it wasn't even that close. It was like 3 or 4 feet away from us. And I guess I appreciate him trying, but it just didn't do anything. And we ended up having to, like, it was a decision between like reaching for it or not, because if we reach for it, then we would have to move, and by moving we would sink more. So I was closer to it, so I decided I was gonna reach for it, and of course I sank more. And as I was sinking more, I did reach it, and when I reached it, I grabbed it, of course. I don't know why I'm telling this. And the way I used it, it was that I pushed it down so that it sunk and I was higher up. But then my cousin asked me for help, and I was really far away from it. At this point, I was like 8 feet away from him, and I was closer to like the edge of it. And I didn't have the plank anymore because I was like really low down, and I couldn't reach for it. So we couldn't do anything. We were just stuck there for a little bit longer. And then we told him to we told him to try to reach for me so he could help me. And so like the poop was sticky, you know? It was like dense. And he tried reaching for us, but the problem was that when he was walking over to us, he like stepped on the dense sticky waste, and he ended up, like, his shoe ended up sticking to the ground, and he took another step, like out of muscle memory or whatever you want to call it. He just took another step, and he didn't have his shoe on, so he stepped on this puddle of like shit and piss with only his sock. So like if you ever stepped on water with your socks on, you know that sucks. Well, he did it with piss and sticky shit, and he just started crying and left because as I've already said, he's a very soft guy and he was very annoying. And we didn't have anything to do now because we're pretty stuck. So I just try to maybe crawl a little bit more because I wasn't gonna sit there. I don't know, die. So I try to crawl over a little bit, and I ended up touching the dirt. It was like, you know, imagine a pool, you know, when they have like the ramp on this side. It was pretty much that. I had a ramp of dirt before the ground. So I touched that. I reached that with my foot, and I thought it was set. So I got out, and now I couldn't help my cousin in really any way, cause well, I was really far. So I didn't know what to do. So I just abandoned him, and I betrayed his trust forever, and he hates me. I'm just kidding, but I don't really remember what happened after that. I remember he got out, but I don't remember how. So yeah, we ended up having to drive back, and we're in a pickup truck, and we're so covered. Oh wait, I forgot about this. He managed to get out, but the way he did was that he like pushed down with both of his arms to like get a little bit of more height. But by doing that, like the ground, it like made a vacuum. It like sucked his legs, and he lost the shoe. And he couldn't find it because it was like lost in the shit now. What was he gonna do about it? So he just abandoned his shoe in there because what could he do? And we just ended up leaving without a shoe, and it's probably still there. If they didn't empty it out, that is. I hope they did. And well, yeah. So we were so covered in poop after that when we left, they didn't want us in the car, so we had to sit on the back. You know, it was a pickup truck, so we had to sit in the back of the truck. And yeah, that was something, I guess. We just sat there, and it was a really bumpy ride because it was on top of a hill, so we went downhill really fast, and we were going all over the place. And yeah, that's how it ended. We just drove back home, I guess.